What if I told you that the smartest people you'll ever meet are the ones who say the least? Not because they don't have anything to share, but because they understand something most people don't. Privacy is power. In a world obsessed with oversharing, where every thought, relationship plan, and emotion is broadcast for likes and approval, the truly intelligent are silent, strategic, intentional. They don't reveal everything they know. They don't show every move they make, and they certainly don't open the doors of their inner world to just anyone. Why? Because they know the truth. Not everyone around you is rooting for you. Some are watching to copy, others to compete, and a few just to see you fail. And when you give people too much access, you hand them the tools to destroy your peace, your progress, and your purpose. That's why an intelligent person guards certain things like treasure. Things that may seem small, but carry deep meaning. Things that, if exposed, can be twisted, misunderstood, or used against them. In this video, we're diving deep into the 8 specific things a truly intelligent person never shares with anyone, no matter how close the relationship. These aren't just tips. These are survival strategies in a world that feeds off weakness, distraction, and emotional exposure. So before you press pause, before you open your mouth or share your next big idea, listen closely. Because what you choose to keep private might just be the smartest decision you ever make. Let's begin. Personal struggles and pain. Everyone goes through pain. Life brings struggles, setbacks, heartbreaks, and losses. But this is something most people don't realize. The most intelligent and emotionally grounded individuals don't announce their pain to the world. They don't wear their wounds like badges or turn their suffering into public spectacle. Instead, they choose silence. They choose to process, not perform. Why? Because intelligent people understand that not everyone listening has good intentions. Some people don't want to help you. They want to hear your pain so they can use it against you. Others will pretend to care only to gossip about you when you leave the room. And worst of all, some will take joy in your suffering. That's why the wise keep their pain private. They heal behind closed doors, they cry in silence, and they rise in strength. They don't post every breakdown online or vent to every ear that will listen, because they know pain is personal and healing is sacred. This doesn't mean they suppress their emotions or pretend everything is perfect. It means they're selective. They might have 1 or 2 trusted people they confide in, but they don't open the door to everyone. They don't need an audience to grieve, and they certainly don't need validation to feel. Why should you keep your struggles to yourself? Because healing requires focus, and when too many people are watching or commenting on your journey, that focus gets scattered. The noise drowns out your clarity, the advice, the judgment, the pity. It can become overwhelming. Intelligent people create emotional space to think, to feel, and to grow without external interference. They also understand that sometimes the most powerful transformations happen in silence. When no one knows what you're going through, they also won't see your comeback coming. That's your power. And here's the truth. Pain loses its grip on you when you stop feeding it attention. When you stop retelling the same story over and over, you begin writing a new one. Intelligent people focus on that new story. They channel their energy into rebuilding, not retelling. So if you're going through something painful right now, take this to heart. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone. You don't owe the world your story until you're ready to share it from a place of strength, not desperation. Sometimes the most intelligent thing you can do is go quiet, go inward, and do the work. Because at the end of the day, the strongest people are not those who scream their pain the loudest. They are the ones who rise from the ashes with dignity, grace, and power, and leave the world wondering how they survived without ever saying a word. Financial details. An intelligent person understands this truth. Money is power, and power must be protected. When you openly share how much you make, how much you save, or how much you've invested, you're not just giving information, you're giving access. And access invites opinions, judgments, jealousy, competition, and sometimes danger. There's a reason the wealthy, the successful, and the wise often keep their finances private. It's not about being secretive out of arrogance, it's about being strategic. The moment you reveal your financial standing, people begin to view you through a different lens. Friends may start to expect more from you, family might assume you're now responsible for their problems, strangers may treat you differently. Some with admiration, others with envy. And here's the most dangerous part. Not everyone wants to see you win. When your bank balance becomes public knowledge, so does your target. Intelligent people notice and choose silence over spotlight. They avoid unnecessary conversations about their income, savings, or investments. Why? Because money has energy. And that energy should remain protected and focused on growth. Financial privacy also preserves freedom. When no one knows what you have, you're free to live on your terms. You're not pressured to impress anyone. You don't have to explain your choices, whether you're driving a modest car or living below your means. Because intelligent people don't need to prove their wealth to validate their worth. They understand that quiet money grows, loud money gets judged. Quiet investors build empires. Loud spenders attract problems. Which side do you want to be on? And it's not just about protecting yourself from negativity. It's also about staying disciplined. When your financial moves are public, you become more reactive than intentional. You feel pressure to meet external expectations instead of staying focused on your internal goals. But when your journey is silent, you move without noise and without resistance. Even in relationships, intelligent individuals avoid discussing exact salaries or net worth unless absolutely necessary. Why? Because money can shift dynamics. It can create imbalance, misunderstandings, or even resentment. Keeping financial matters private helps keep emotional connections pure, free from material comparisons or assumptions. Here's what intelligent people know. People respect mystery. They may wonder, they may speculate, but they can't interfere with what they don't fully understand. So protect your money like you would protect your home. Keep it clean, keep it growing, and most importantly, keep it private. Your wealth isn't a public performance. It's a private responsibility. Handle it with intelligence and it will multiply in silence. Because in the end, true wealth doesn't need to be loud. It only needs to be smart. Family issues. No family is perfect. Behind every smiling photo, every holiday gathering, and every polite conversation, there are hidden tensions, unresolved disagreements, and painful moments. But here's what separates the wise from the reckless. Intelligent people do not publicize their family issues. They protect the dignity of their bloodline, not because everything is perfect, but because everything doesn't need to be public. Family is the foundation. And when the foundation is shaken, it's tempting to vent, to complain, to let the frustration spill over into conversations with friends or strangers. But intelligent individuals resist that urge. Why? Because they understand that sharing personal family drama doesn't solve it. It only multiplies the damage. The moment you expose a sibling's mistake, a parent's flaw, or spouse's shortcoming to outsiders, you shift the energy. Now, instead of healing, you've planted seeds of gossip, division, and judgment. And often, those who listen don't forget even after you've forgiven. The world will hold on to the image you gave them of your family long after your heart has moved on. A wise person knows that family conflicts are complex. They layered with love, loyalty, and years of history. Outsiders don't understand the full story, and they don't need to. Intelligent people choose to protect their family's reputation even when they are hurting, not because the family is flawless, but because they value privacy and maturity over emotional outbursts. When you speak against your family in front of others, it doesn't make you look strong. It makes you look unstable and disloyal. Intelligent individuals preserve their credibility by being selective with their words. They know when to speak and, more importantly, when to stay silent. This doesn't mean tolerating abuse or remaining silent in the face of injustice within the family. There are situations where boundaries must be enforced, and sometimes those boundaries include seeking outside help. But even then, the wise choose professionals, counselors, or mentors, not gossip circles or public platforms. Contacting your family's internal struggles also teaches emotional discipline. It teaches you how to handle conflict with grace, how to solve problems without an audience, and how to stand tall in chaos without letting the world watch you fall apart. And let's not forget, one day you may be the person someone in your family talks about. The same mercy and privacy you extend today may be what saves your reputation tomorrow. So remember this. Family issues belong within the family. Fix them behind closed doors. Heal with compassion. Set boundaries where needed, but do it with wisdom, not bitterness. Because intelligent people know that respect starts at home, and so does silence. Acts of kindness and charity. In a world obsessed with recognition and validation, it's become common for people to broadcast every good deed they perform. They record themselves handing food to the homeless. They take pictures every time they donate. They share screenshots of how they helped someone financially. But here's what an intelligent person knows. True kindness doesn't need a stage. The most meaningful acts of charity are the ones done in silence. Not for likes, not for applause, not to boost your reputation, but because it's the right thing to do. When you give with pure intention, without expecting praise in return, you're giving from the heart. That's where real power lives. An intelligent person understands that charity loses its sacredness when it becomes a performance. The moment you start telling everyone about how generous you are, your kindness turns into a tool for ego. And ego corrupts even the most beautiful gestures. It's not giving, it's bragging in disguise. There's a profound strength in silent generosity. When you help someone and walk away quietly without needing them or anyone else, to know that's emotional maturity, that's spiritual growth, that's what sets the wise apart from the shallow. Even in ancient wisdom and spiritual teachings, anonymous giving is considered the highest form of charity. Why? Because it's selfless. It requires no recognition, no credit, no applause. It's about the impact, not the image. Furthermore, when you constantly advertise your good deeds, you risk two things: pride and resentment. Pride inflates your sense of self, making you feel morally superior, and resentment can grow in the hearts of those you helped, especially if they feel exposed or patronized. Intelligent individuals avoid both by keeping their giving private. Also, acts of kindness are most effective when they empower, not embarrass. When you help someone quietly, you protect their dignity. You give them the gift of hope without taking their pride. That's what true kindness is. It uplifts, it heals, and it respects. And let's be honest, if you have to shout about it, who are you really doing it for? The intelligent person gives without needing to be seen. They don't need to prove they're a good human being. They let their actions speak for themselves. They know that what they do in private carries more weight than anything flaunted in public. So next time you feel the urge to share your generosity, pause and ask yourself, is this about helping or about being seen helping? That one question can reveal your true motive. Be generous, be kind, be helpful. But above all, be humble. Because the quietest kindness often creates the loudest impact. And the most intelligent hearts never need to prove how big they are, your life goals and plans. There's something powerful about moving in silence. Intelligent people know this. Your plans lose power the moment you start talking about them to everyone. Because when you speak too soon, you invite distractions, opinions, doubts, and even envy into a space that should be protected by focus, clarity, and discipline. In today's world, people are quick to announce their next move. I'm starting a business, I'm writing a book, I'm leaving this job and moving abroad. But intelligent people know better. They don't broadcast what hasn't been built. They don't speak of dreams that are still in the soil. Why? Because seeds grow better when planted in silence. When you share your goals too early, you risk something called premature validation. People congratulate you before you've even done the work. That creates a false sense of achievement, and sometimes that feeling is enough to make people stop pushing. You feel seen, appreciated, even admired for something that hasn't been completed. And that can kill your hunger Also, every time you speak your vision into a room full of ears, you risk being infected by someone else's fear, judgment, or small thinking. You might say, "I want to launch a business," and someone responds, "That's risky, most fail." And just like that, a seed of doubt is planted in your mind. You begin questioning your own ability, not because you're weak, but because you exposed your vision to people who couldn't see what you see. Intelligent individuals protect their plans like sacred blueprints. They understand that every goal needs silence to gain strength. They reveal the result, not the process. They work quietly, grind daily, build brick by brick, and let success speak when the time is right. Keeping your goals private also keeps you accountable to yourself, not to others. You're not working to impress or prove anything. You're working because you believe in your vision. You're moving with purpose, not applause. You're building something real, not just telling stories about what you might do. And here's another truth. Energy leaks through over-talking. The more you speak, the less power you have left to act. Talking gives the illusion of progress, but only action moves you forward. Intelligent people don't get caught in that illusion. They choose discipline over distraction. So if you're dreaming big, if you're planning something powerful, if you're preparing to level up, keep it to yourself. Protect it like a treasure. Build in the dark. Move in silence. Let your growth surprise the world. Because when your success finally speaks, it will say everything you never had to. And that's how intelligent people move. Quietly, wisely, relentlessly. Personal struggles and weaknesses. Everyone struggles. Every person you meet, no matter how confident they seem, how successful they look, or how loud their laughter is, carries battles you cannot see. But here's the truth that intelligent people understand deeply. Your personal struggles are not meant for public consumption. In a world that glorifies vulnerability for views, many confuse exposure with strength. But intelligent individuals know that strength isn't in telling everyone your pain, it's in facing your pain with courage, healing quietly, and choosing who truly deserves access to your wounds. When you share your struggles with everyone, you risk being misunderstood, judged, or worse, used. Not everyone listening cares. Not everyone listening supports. Some are silently celebrating your downfall. Some will remember your low points and weaponize them later. That's why the wise keep their weaknesses close and share only with those who've earned their trust. Privacy isn't about hiding, it's about protecting. It's about knowing that not every scar needs to be explained, not every failure needs a spotlight, and not every emotion is meant for display. Emotional intelligence is the ability to process your pain without broadcasting it for validation. When you're struggling, it's easy to want sympathy. But intelligent people don't chase sympathy, they chase solutions. They take their pain to prayer, to therapy, to trusted circles, not to gossip tables or public timelines. They understand that true healing happens in stillness, not in noise. Think about it. When was the last time oversharing helped you grow? More often, it delays growth. It keeps you trapped in the story rather than moving toward the solution. Intelligent people choose progress over pity. They don't let their pain become their personality. There is also an energy principle at play. When you constantly speak about what's wrong, you give it more life. You give your struggle more space than your strength. And when you focus inward, quietly work through it, and rise without announcement, that's when transformation truly begins. And let's not forget, your weakness in the wrong hands becomes a weapon. Intelligent people are careful about who they hand the sword to. They don't just tell their truth to anyone who will listen. They select their listeners wisely, knowing that healing requires safety, not spotlight. This doesn't mean you suffer in silence. It means you heal in privacy. You cry, you reflect, you grow, but you do it with wisdom. You let your journey shape you, not define you publicly. So the next time you're tempted to post that emotional story, tell that painful memory to someone unqualified, or seek pity for your struggle, pause, breathe, and remember, an intelligent person honors their pain by protecting it. They don't wear wounds as trophies, carrying them as teachers, and learn in silence. Because strength isn't how loud you cry, it is how powerfully you rise. without making a sound, your family issues and private relationships. An intelligent person knows that not everything in life is meant for public display, especially when it comes to their family and private relationships. These are sacred bonds. These are sensitive matters, and once you open the door for the world to peek into them, you risk losing the peace that holds them together. Let's be honest, relationships, whether romantic, familial, or even close friendships, go through seasons. There are highs and lows, misunderstandings, conflicts, reconciliations. But when you make your private matters public, you create a stage for judgment, gossip, and interference. Wise people don't post their relationship arguments online. They don't run to the group chat after every disagreement with a spouse or parent. They don't paint their loved ones as villains in moments of anger, only to regret it later when emotions cool down. Because once you've exposed someone you love to outside ridicule, that relationship is never quite the same. Trust gets shaken. Respect gets lost. Intelligent individuals protect their loved ones from unnecessary exposure. They understand that loyalty isn't just about defending someone publicly, it's about not putting them in the position where they need to be defended in the first place. Think of it like this. Your relationships are like a house. If you leave the doors and windows wide open, dust, noise, and even danger find their way in. But when you close them, when you maintain boundaries, you preserve the harmony inside. You create a space for real connection, not one influenced by outside voices or unsolicited opinions. Sometimes people share too much because they want validation. Was I right to feel this way? Or look what they did to me? But intelligent people don't seek outside validation for inside problems. They know that public attention can't solve private pain. Family issues in particular are deeply personal. We're talking about generational wounds, personal history, and unique dynamics that outsiders can't fully understand. When you expose those struggles, you dishonor the very foundation you come from. Wise people choose to handle family matters within the family, quietly, respectfully, and if boundaries must be created or distance maintained, they do so with dignity, not drama. Private relationships also require protection from envy. Not everyone clapping for your love story is happy for you. Some are watching, waiting, hoping to see cracks. The more you show, the more you give people access to something they don't deserve to influence. So the intelligent person chooses privacy. They talk less, resolve more. They keep their peace by keeping things sacred. They build solid relationships behind closed doors, not for approval, but for authenticity. And when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, they don't burn bridges for attention. They reflect, they grow, and they protect what's left. Because at the end of the day, real strength is not in exposing the people you love. Real strength is in protecting them. Even when you're hurting, your acts of kindness and generosity. In a world that constantly shouts, "Look at me!" the most powerful people move in quiet compassion. An intelligent person knows this simple truth. Not every good deed needs an audience. In fact, the most meaningful acts of kindness are the ones done in silence, without the need for praise, attention, or applause. You live in an age where kindness is often broadcasted, not because people care, but because they want to be seen caring. Social media is full of people recording themselves, helping the poor, feeding the hungry, donating to strangers. But ask yourself, who is it really for? An intelligent person gives without the camera, they donate without the post, they help without expecting anything in return, not even a thank you. Because to them, generosity is a reflection of character, not a tool for recognition. They understand that real giving is pure. It's sacred. It's personal. There's an ancient saying, what the right hand gives, the left hand shouldn't even know. That's the level of humility wise people aim for. They know that the power of generosity lies not in how loud it is, but in how sincere. Also, when you boast about your kindness, you risk turning it into a performance. The moment you share it to elevate your image, the act loses its true essence. It's no longer about the person you helped, it becomes about you. And that's not kindness. That's ego in disguise. True intelligence is knowing the difference between doing something for others and doing something so others notice you. Moreover, when you constantly talk about how generous you are, you create pressure to keep proving it. people start expecting it. Some even take advantage of it. Intelligent people guard their giving because they understand boundaries. They give wisely, not endlessly. They don't allow others to manipulate their kindness or guilt them into self-sacrifice. There's also spiritual power in silent giving. When you bless someone quietly without seeking reward, the universe remembers. Life has a way of returning good energy to those who spread it humbly. Intelligent people trust this. They know that everything given in love circles back in its own time, and it doesn't need to be seen to be real. Their kindness is a habit, not a headline. It's in how they listen, how they show up, how they support others when no one's watching. Because at the end of the day, real generosity is loud. It doesn't wear a crown or ask for a round of applause. It's quiet, it's consistent, and it's deeply rooted in love. So if you ever find yourself wondering whether to share that good deed with the world, pause. Ask yourself, am I doing this to uplift someone or to uplift myself? The answer will reveal everything. An intelligent person gives in silence because their heart speaks louder than their voice. Now that you've heard the 8 vital things an intelligent person keeps private, I want you to take a moment to reflect, not on what you've already shared with the world, but on what you choose to protect from this point forward. You see, the power of privacy isn't about secrecy. It's about wisdom. It's about choosing peace over popularity. It's about recognizing that your thoughts, plans, relationships, struggles, and victories don't need public validation to be real, valuable, or successful. We live in a noisy world where everyone wants to be seen, heard, and praised. But the people who actually win long-term are those who know how to move in silence and build in the shadows. They don't need to explain their every move. They don't need to defend their dreams. They don't give energy to distractions or people who don't deserve access to their inner world. Because here's the truth. What's sacred should stay protected. When you share too much, you risk losing control of your own narrative. You invite unnecessary opinions. You allow envy and misunderstanding to enter your space. But when you keep the right things private, your next move, your personal struggles, your family's wounds, your financial details, and your deeper goals, you create a wall between you and the chaos of the outside world. And behind that wall, that's where growth happens. That's where clarity lives. That's where real power builds. Slowly, silently, but surely. An intelligent person understands that not every truth needs to be told. Not every emotion needs to be expressed. Not every plan needs to be revealed. The more you keep to yourself, the more freedom you have to think clearly, act wisely, and move without pressure. So if you truly want to level up, if you want peace, purpose, and progress, learn to master the art of privacy. Speak less, observe more, protect your energy, and when you give, give without a need to announce it. When you grow, grow without a need to prove it. Let your life speak for itself. Because people may question your silence, they may even misinterpret your quiet strengths, but they'll never be able to destroy what they can see. Privacy isn't weakness, it's intelligence in action. It's how you keep your life sacred in a world that profits off of exposure. So move forward today, not just informed, but transformed. Choose to protect your peace, guard your intentions. And remember, you don't owe anyone access to your inner world. You don't need to share to be successful. And the less they know, the stronger you grow. That's not just wisdom, it's survival. Thank you for watching. Stay smart, stay focused, and most importantly, stay private.